The Eibach adjustable anti-roll front and rear sway bars are a great choice for your 11 to 14 Mustang because they reduce body roll for a seriously upgraded handling performance, much flatter cornering, and honestly just a sportier overall feel. This particular set is 3-way adjustable, allowing you to fine-tune exactly how you want the front and exactly how you want the rear to perform. The installation isn't too hard, so I'm giving this 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter, which I'll walk you through later on. If you're not too familiar with how a sway bar works, in a nutshell, it's basically controlling the side-to-side movement of your Mustang and really comes into place around tight corners. Their main function is to help reduce body roll and maintain stability rotating through a turn or even just changing lanes. The factory sway bars are pretty neutral. The stock front bar is 34mm in diameter and the rear is 20mm in diameter on the 11 to 14 GTs. The GT500s have the same front but a slightly bigger 24mm rear bar. The V6 gets the biggest change from a 28mm front bar, and especially because they didn't come with a rear one from the factory. Picking up a larger rear bar like this one will tighten things up to promote oversteer, which is basically the rear end rotating through the turn. A larger front bar will promote understeer, which is basically the car just plowing through the turn or losing grip while overturning, causing you to go straight. So your goal with this is to typically find the happy medium between the two, so picking up a full kit like this will really improve your over-understeer balance. They're also called anti-roll bars for a reason. They'll keep your ride flatter through the turn, which is great for track use or just daily driving, since it's noticeable even with that quick lane change I mentioned. They make such a big impact because they're noticeably larger in diameter than the stock sizes I just mentioned. The Eibach front bar is 36mm in diameter and the rear is 25mm. This will offer one of the biggest size increases in the category. The bigger the bar, the more of an impact the anti-roll characteristics will have. The fact that it's adjustable will make them even more impactful and help you to fine-tune what you like the most. Now, as you can see at the end of each sway bar, there are 3 open holes in the arms which allow you to either go to the stiffest, softest, or a more neutral feel. Whether or not you want more oversteer or understeer is completely personal of a preference because each driver is different. Using one of the stiffer adjustments on your bar will keep your S197 a little flatter through the turn for a tighter suspension, and the opposite is true for the outer adjustment hole. The bars are even a higher quality build too. Expect both to be made from a high quality steel alloy, solid cold formed, tempered and shot peened for strength and durability as needed when under so much suspension flex and pressure. It's all made right here in the USA. Now the red powder coated finish does give it a sportier look, but it more importantly helps with long-lasting corrosion resistance, and it's honestly just a red Eibach classic. Now the kit includes a set of greasable polyurethane bushings for responsiveness, which are perfect for a street or track car since they are more rigid than the factory rubber bushings. This means they'll take it even a step farther to prevent movement, keeping the suspension even tighter. The kit has precision forged ends and OEM-style pressed bushing locators as well with no weak points. This complete kit comes in just south of the $600 mark, which in my opinion is a well worth it price for something that impacts your suspension so much and can really improve your driving experience. Obviously, if you're not too interested in an adjustable option and just want a quick replacement, you can save a few bucks by going with a non-adjustable, more entry-level option, but if you want a more preferential experience with a race-inspired kit, this one will definitely come in handy. Now, the installation itself gets 1 out of 3 wrenches on our difficulty meter and should take about an hour or 2 in the garage or shop. If you've never swapped out a sway bar before, just know that it doesn't require too much mechanical experience, just a few simple hand tools like a ratchet and socket set, and a jack and jack stands or a lift if you have access to one. Once the car's in the air, you start in the rear by removing the 10mm bolts holding the brake line bracket to the sway bar end link bracket. Next, the bolts holding the sway bar end link to the sway bar come off, then the bolts holding the bracket to the frame. Install the new poly bushings over the sway bar, then slide the brackets over the bushings. You can install the Eibach rear bar to the factory locations using the same bolts, and this is where you can choose your adjustment point. The hole closest to the rear of the car will soften the feel. The hole closest to the front of the car will tighten it up. The fronts are essentially the same process. You'll disconnect the end links from the bracket, remove the front sway bar, swap it out, and replace the bolts through the adjustment setting of your choice. I would personally recommend starting off in the middle hole here, which is the neutral setting, just to see how it feels in the neutral position on the road, and then from there, if you want it tighter, you can adjust that way, or softer, you can adjust the opposite way. But that just about wraps this one up, so if you're the owner of an 11 to 14 Mustang, you might want to check out the Eibach adjustable anti-roll front and rear sway bars, which of course you can find right here at AmericanMuscle.com.